launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
Face off. Won by the Rangers. Vanderjad, left circle, left point Adam Fox. Fox, left point to Vanderjad. Shoots. Pat save made Vasilevsky. 9 seconds left. Kreider, a pass blocked by Chernak. Bumps it, finding at McDonough. Trying to golf it up the far side. It's blocked. Rebound Kopp. Right corner. 1 second left. And the Lightning are heading back to the Stanley Cup Final. They beat the Rangers 2-1. And they win the series in 6 games.
What a moment at Amalie Arena on Saturday night as the Lightning punched their ticket to their third consecutive Stanley Cup Finals, trying to become the first team to win 3 in a row since the Isles did it back in 80 to 84. This run that the Lightning are on is almost incomprehensible. The numbers are off the charts, and it's not just for hockey. It's across all sports. But the Tampa Bay Lightning doing right now is on so many levels. We'll talk about the numbers here that are just astounding. And if you're not paying attention, if you're not getting your tickets, if you're not part of this run, what the F are you waiting for? Folks, it just does not get any better than this. We're going to recount the game on Saturday night. Brian Bradley's going to join us at 11 o'clock at FanStream JP. If you'd like to jump aboard, we got so many things, so many sound bites to get to with John Cooper, Vasilevsky, and Kucherov even talked. That's how special of a night it was on Saturday. And we'll look ahead, of course, to this series with the Avs and what they present. But I got to be honest with you. And I looked at some of the matchups and looked at some of the numbers, and I know that the Avs are favored in this series, and I just have to ask a simple question. What the hell is Vegas thinking? Well, I know what Vegas is thinking. They want to get the favorite money going on the Avs once again, and then come back and watch the Lightning win. And, when the underdogs win, Vegas usually wins. So that's probably what they're thinking, because as far as I know, this team in this iteration of this Lightning team cannot be beat. They cannot be beat. It's as simple as that. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Huge Lightning fan, by the way. We'll be sitting up there in 200 level watching games 3 and 4. That will take place here Monday and Wednesday. We will open up Wednesday at Colorado, Mile High. That may have a little something to do with it. And then they'll go Saturday, and then we'll be back here on Monday. But what a night. Nick Geddes, Outkick.com, joining me here. My friend, I know you're a young man, and I don't know if you witnessed the 04 or even remember it, but it's a dynasty. And just quite frankly, they're doing things that nobody has done since the Isles and the Canadiens in the history of this league, and they're doing it in a salary cap era. Frankly, it's just unprecedented.
Well, I was around for the 04. I was 5 years old. It was one of the greatest nights of my childhood life.
Do you remember it?
I still remember it.
Wow,
yes, I do remember where I was. I actually went to I was at game 2. Don't remember much of it, but I was at game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final that year.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I have like a towel and like a puck from that game as like a memorabilia thing. So I do remember it, but all I could say is outside of a few lean years, I'd say 07 to like 2012, incredibly blessed to see some great hockey in Tampa Bay, honestly.
Yeah.
And this is no different. You mentioned it. The first team to go to 3 straight cups since the 83 to 85 Oilers. And for perspective, folks, that's Wayne Gretzky. That's Mark Messier. That's Grant Fuhr. That's one of the greatest teams of all time right there.
Right.
And the Lightning, we have to start saying they're in that category as one of the greatest teams of all time.
Without question. I mean, the numbers don't lie. And probably as impressive as that is, when you go inside the numbers, these are the numbers that are just flat out astounding. In 8 clinching games, Andrei Vasilevsky has stopped 219 of 221 shots. So to put that in perspective, this guy in the most clutch moments in hockey, the most pressure-packed moments in hockey, not against a bunch of schlubs, but against the best teams in hockey, the highest scoring teams in hockey. Like this year, the Panthers were the highest scoring team since what, 95, 96. Shutout, blanked. I think they got 4 goals in the entire series. I mean, are you kidding me? And then you look at this past, you look at Toronto, another incredibly high scoring team. They scored in games 6 and 7. They scored 2 goals? 2 goals. I mean, this is just insane what this guy is doing. A .25 goals against average in those situations, a .991 save percentage. And that's why when it comes down to closing out series, the Lightning are the best. And it's not just Vasilevsky, by the way. And we talked about this. And this is a great stat I saw in John Romano's column today. Anthony Cirelli and Alex Killorn have not scored a single even strength goal in these playoffs, yet they lead the Lightning in shifts taken. What does that tell you about how they're playing on defense? And you go look at the lines that they faced in the last one, the Zibanejad Kreider line. At 5-on-5, what did they get? One goal, I think, maybe.
I believe so. And games 3, 4, 5, and 6, Rangers had 2 5-on-5 goals.
Yeah.
One when a 6-on-5 situation, basically.
Right.
And then the other was a fluke shot from the side point.
Unbelievable.
In game 5.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, it's the way the Lightning just absolutely take away your time and space. And if you watch that game on Saturday night, you saw Lightning players buzzing. I mean, I don't remember any Rangers having any extended time and space except when they were on the power play a little bit. That was about it. Other than that, every time they tried to come through the neutral zone, somebody was there. They couldn't get into the offensive zone, and when they got in there, every puck was battled for, and the Lightning won most of them. It's sheer will. It's knowing how to play. It's getting the right matchups, and the Lightning become expert at it. And I mean, you want to talk about a team effort and a team game up and down that lineup. And I'll include the coaching staff as well. And I'll include the fans as well. The fans are fantastic. They really, really came on Saturday night and brought it. It's a total team effort, and it's incredible to watch in this day and age of me. This is the ultimate team that, in terms of their success and how they play the game, I think I've ever seen in terms of a championship. Yes, they've got great players, Kucherov and Stamkos and Hedman and everybody. And by the way, when Hedman went out with that head injury, I was like, oh my! If he doesn't come back, if he's in concussion protocol, it's over. But honestly, that's about the only way you're going to beat this team is if they lose Hedman or Vasilevsky. I think that's about the only way you're going to beat this team because they've done it without Stamkos. They've won a lot of games without Kucherov in the regular season. They've done it without Braden Point. I mean, it's just incredible. Their best two-way skater, Braden Point, did not play in the conference finals, and this team won 4 in a row against the Rangers. It's insane. It's incredible what they're doing.
And 4 in a row against Florida as well without Braden Point. It's insane. Since he's gone down, the Lightning have lost just twice. Just twice. Against, like you said earlier, the highest scoring team in the regular season in 25 years?
Yeah.
And then the New York Rangers with the best goaltender on the planet, arguably.
Who almost stole that game the other night. Shesterkin was unbelievable. And don't forget, Braden Point, when I say he's their best two-way skater, he's incredible on defense. He's the guy that we put out there usually sometimes against their top line, depending on the matchups. But he's a tremendous two-way player. He also has scored almost every big goal, important overtime goal, and in these past playoffs, he's not only filling up the score sheet, but doing it at the clutch moments. And that's the guy you lose, and you still don't miss a beat. Insane.
And in his absence, it's been Andre Palat, obviously, that has scored all the big goals. Which, if you look at it, I believe he now is in first place for game-winning goals in the playoffs for the Lightning with 11. So I mean, it's just you look up and down the lineup. It's just I keep saying it's an all-time team. It's an all-time team. There is a discussion there that is it a dynasty already?
Yes,
you can have that discussion. I
100%.
I want to see 3v1. I want to see 3v1. But there's no doubt about it. This is an all-time team we're looking at, just riding the wave right now. I mean, that game, honestly, I texted you because we talked about it on Friday's show. You were like, I don't think this team belongs. And I was like, let's give them a little bit more respect. That game, the Rangers, I thought it was a pathetic performance. I don't know if it was them or it was what the Lightning did, or it probably was a combination of both.
And I know Gerard Gallant after the games was talking about fatigue. I get it. Come on.
I mean,
You were outclassed,
we've been
bro.
talking about the Lightning being fatigued
Right.
all year.
Right.
And the amount of jump they had in them than the Rangers did was shocking to me.
Yeah.
It's shocking. I feel like in a game like that where you got to have it, season on the line, I've seen a lot of teams push really hard. I saw Florida push really hard in the game 4 when they had to make up a 3-0 deficit, right?
Mhm.
And Vasilevsky just stole that game. I didn't feel threatened at any point. Even when Vetrano scored that goal at the end, I'm like, Lightning are going to still win this game.
Yeah. It was an incredible performance on so many levels, and it's not sexy in a 9-6 game like some of the Abs games that they've won. And a quick point about that. You go back to they've swept 2 series. So they're going to be rested. There's no doubt about that. But they'll have 9 days off before this game. To me, this sets up perfect for the Lightning. They'll have 3 to 4 days off, depending on how you want to look at it. And they're going to go into this, I think, still with their skill and their timing is going to be there. 9 days is too much for the Abs. It's this. You saw it against the Lightning. It's tough to do. The Lightning, of course, winning in 6 will certainly help them. I mean, obviously, not going that extra game is huge. And the Game 7 is just so emotional, so much physicality that you have to go through. So I think that's another advantage for them. I think they're in a perfect spot. Now, I'm a little worried about the altitude because that will affect, obviously, your wind and how much you can exert. But I'm sure they'll be able to. They'll do their best on that count. But it is an advantage for Colorado. I don't think there's any question about it. But the Lightning have the best road record, the best winning percentage on the road in the playoffs in NHL history. So they'll win one. They'll get one, if not 2, at some point in this series from the Avs. I think I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go Lightning in 6 because here's the thing. This is going to be about defense, and the Avs are really, really good. But when you're giving up 6 goals, 5 goals, and then 2 goals in the series, like they did to Edmonton, I mean, that's too many. That's too many. If you're giving up that many goals, your defense is not good enough to win a Stanley Cup, in my opinion. And especially with the way the Lightning muck up the game and get it into their tempo and frustrate the other team. So I love the Lightning in 6 in this one.
Yeah, I think no doubt about it. I understand why Colorado's the favorite. I do.
Yeah.
And in fact, if I was a non-biased fan, I'd probably tell you Colorado should be the favorite, to be honest with you. I mean, they've only lost twice this entire postseason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's no make mistake. You talk about the Lightning's talent. Colorado has just as much in bunches. Interesting to point out, and I say that point. I think Point's probably going to play.
He is going to play.
I think he is. Yeah, I can't say the same about Nazem Kadri, who they, and then let's not understate that. Let's see how Colorado plays against the Lightning without one of their star players.
Exactly.
Let's see. They already are missing one of their better defenders, Sam Girard. He's out for the entire postseason. So that's 2 guys down there. You mentioned the defense. You got to play sandpaper hockey. And you look at the defense for the Lightning, we forget how big these guys are.
Yeah.
Hedman, Chernak, McDonough plays physical brand of hockey. Bogosian, same way. Sergachev is underratedly kind of big and can play that physical brand of hockey. You look up and down Colorado's blue line, they have a lot of guys who can score, maybe better point getters, but are they as physical as the Lightning? No. And I think that's the difference. The Lightning wear down their opponent. They frustrate them. They wear them down. I don't think Colorado has played a team like that because Edmonton is in shambles defensively and in net.
Exactly. I mean, come on, Mike Smith.
Yeah.
Love your brother. 10 years ago when you were back stopping for us, but
and you can make the same argument. They didn't have to face UC Saros first round.
That's right.
They got Nashville's backup.
That's right.
Second round against St. Louis, Bennington. What happened?
Yeah,
he was out. Billy Husso, backup. Last series, it's Mike Smith.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing there. They have another thing coming with Vasilevsky, like you said in the New York series.
I don't honestly. How are they favored? Why are the Avs favored? Because they got 2 sweeps. But look inside who they played and why. And the West is so much weaker than the East. Come on.
It's the amount of, I'm telling you, it's McKinnon, McCarr, Rantanen, Landis. They have the pieces. It feels like it's like sometimes you can almost feel like, it's their year. You can make it feels like it's Colorado's year to bust through that door, and they're going to do it. I mean, you know who you got to go through.
I heard the same thing about Toronto. I heard the same thing about Florida. I heard the same thing about the Rangers.
I know.
And where are they?
They're golfing right now.
Tee time 9:15.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's and I just don't see, given all the analytics, I think they favor the Lightning. I think you Obviously the experience, the eye test, all of it, I think favors Lightning, but whatever. All right. So I want to go back to Saturday night, and because, I know it was, some 48 hours ago, but it's also, I think, the epitome of why the Lightning are here and why they're going to move forward and win another Stanley Cup. It was about defense. It was about your stars doing everything they can. And what can you say about the freaking captain? My captain. I mean, what has he not done in this series? It was blocking shots. I looked down there a couple of times and I'm seeing this guy skating around like a madman. And I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, that's Hagel, or, who's that? Is that Paul? Is that 91? He was everywhere. I don't know if I've seen him play with that kind of energy, and he looked faster. I don't know what the hell's gotten into this dude, but man, he's having the best season of his career. 14 years in.
This is a rebirth that I did not see coming. I would love any Lightning fan out there to please chime in and let me know if you saw this coming. I mean, let's not say he's not as explosive as 60-goal Stamkos 10 years ago, but I can make the argument he's as complete as a player now that he's ever been.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And when you have a captain that's doing all those things, setting the tone, how can it not be infectious to the rest of the team? How can it not?
That's leadership.
I mean, and a guy that's won 2 Stanley Cups, you ask him, what's your motivation right now? You have 2 cups. We said it all year. What's the motivation? I want to get Nick Paul a cup. I want to get Brandon Hagel a cup. I want to get Corey Perry another cup. That's what he says. That's a captain right there.
And they understand the historic moment that they are in. I think they believe, like you, I believe they're already a dynasty. Getting to the Stanley Cup Final 3 years in a row, that means something. It goes on your resume. It's tremendous. Having won 2, and I think they're going to get a third, so they're definitely going to be the dynasty. But in this situation, Stamkos, and I've obviously covered him his entire career, and he's gone from that 60-goal scorer, but he was just he was that. I think you see that in some of these younger players. Connor McDavid can score. Now he's starting to play defense. Now he's starting to learn a little bit more about what it takes to win cups, and it's going to take him that maturation process. And I asked Kucherov and Vasilevsky after the game about their captain. We'll play that a little bit later on, and those are men of very few words, by the way, very few words. But I think Cooper's answer was even better. We're going to play that here in a second, but let's play this first goal where, and again, Shesterkin is just stoning the Lightning right and left. He probably, at this point of the game, we're into the second period, he's probably stopped, 7 to 8 grade A chances that the Lightning have had. But the Lightning never get down. They just, every time he makes a great save, they push harder. Here's the first one. Courtesy of the Lightning Radio Network.
By the Rangers. Kopp backhands it in. Vasilevsky holds onto it. Nearboard Sergachev to Palat. Palat under pressure. Can he clear? Yes. To Stamkos at center. Stamkos protects it across the blue line to the right circle. Shoot, score! What a shot from Steven Stamkos! 1-0 Lightning with 9:17 left in the second.
Shoot the puck, score the goal. A French guy, Camille Henry, I play with, he says, shoot the puck, score the goal there.
Shoot the puck.
And that's what he did. He just came over the blue line, top of the face-off circle to the left of Shesterkin, and he snapped it. Now,
he wasn't ready for it.
Snapshot, too. It was not a wind-up blast, but he just snapped it. And Shesterkin couldn't move. It was by him before he could even move.
That's the thing. Boy, Espo just nailed that. Shesterkin was so good in close. When you're in close and the traffic in front, man, is he good. He gets in such great position. You have nothing to see. There's nothing there for you. He covers it up. He's out on you. He just takes away the angle. But that's the shot right there that he's not ready for. He's not expecting Stamkos to shoot it from that spot. And the power that he gets on that from a wrister, I don't know how fast that shot was, but it definitely took him by surprise. It was right inside the post. Phenomenal shot.
Well, a couple things. That goal right there looked like a highlight out of the 1990s or the 1980s when guys used to take wrist shots from that far out.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, don't even bother. These goalies are so good now. They have so much padding. The chances of you getting it in past them are so slim. But if you've learned anything about Shesterkin, he's so good and close, and he's robbed the Lightning of so many chances. How many goals has he allowed from up top
From
near
distance,
the blue line?
many.
It's kind of odd, is
Yeah.
it not?
No, it's
For whatever reason, he has not seen it well from there, and that's just great by Stamkos. Which, by the way, great play by Andre Palat. By the way, to win the battle and get it up to Stamkos,
Yep.
and then he's flying through the neutral zone there, like 10 years ago, Stamkos.
yeah.
And at that point, it's like you've already peppered this guy with everything you got.
Let's try this.
Just try that. And Lindgren maybe providing a little bit of a screen, maybe.
Yep.
Not saying it's his fault, but yeah, 1-0 there. And Stamkos, of course, who I believe this is the first time during this run where I can tell you he feels like one of the main reasons why the Lightning are winning.
Oh, no question.
And that's why this is a
question.
legacy
Yeah.
playoff run for Steven Stamkos.
No question about it. No question about it. And then you throw in the fight, and then you throw in, the game against, I think it was the Panthers or maybe Toronto, where he went down the tunnel 3 times from blocking shots. Blocked, I think 4 shots the other night. I mean, he's just, it's ridiculous.
I'm running out of things to say, really. It's amazing.
So then the Rangers get a power play because it's the only way they're freaking going to score. They get I think it was Vetrano, who gets the goal through traffic. I'm not sure Vasi even ever saw it. So it's 1-1 with about 6 minutes left in the third period.
Mm-hmm.
It took all of 27 seconds. And I thought, and by the way, it was Stamkos who drew the penalty. And I don't think it's any coincidence that he was on the ice for that faceoff. And what do you know?
I think Lafreniere, by the way, took diving lessons from
Oh, of
Shesterkin
course
on
they
that
did.
one. Like, I think it was a
Of course
hold,
they
don't get me
did.
wrong, but my goodness.
As I said, there's a lot of that on the Rangers, by the way. As nice, my intro for Shesterkin in the pregame show was the 2022 Vezina and Tony Award finalist. No Academy Award. I think Tonys are better because it is Broadway.
Was that in your script, or did you throw that in?
I
yourself?
threw that in.
I figured.
They wouldn't script that. But they do give me a little bit of free rein to be snarky when it becomes that. And if the Rangers want to complain about that. By the way, Rangers, we're still waiting for a statement from you about your fan, but it's okay. We can wait. So then here's the second goal, and underrated on this play once again in the 2-on-1. Kucherov just saucers the pass right onto Stamkos' tape over the stick of I don't know who it was Trouba or somebody, but it's another phenomenal pass to set up this go-ahead goal.
They'll feed it up the middle. Miller a block. Lafreniere, who drew the penalty, steals and dumps it in. Hedman up the far side for Andre Palat. Leads Kucherov on the right side at center, across the blue line, right point. In front for Stamkos. Shoot! Saves Shesterkin. Scored!
See something. Now the linesman is talking to the referees. I don't know.
Stamkos has no doubt, though, that this is a goal.
Yeah.
It went in the net. And that's all I know.
Shesterkin stopped it with his glove, but eventually went in the net. Here's the replay, Phil.
He shoots.
Oh, he bobbled it. He bobbled it, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a goal.
That is a goal for.
Yeah, so Shesterkin makes the initial save, but it comes out of his glove before there's any contact at all with Stamkos. And then as the puck pops up in the air, it hits Stamkos' leg, upper leg, and goes into the net. It's without question a goal, but it was kind of funny because it took, after the premature horn earlier in the series, I think our horn guy's a little gun shy. So it took a little second before he puts the horn off. Then they go to review, and then they, that's a good goal, and then they horn it again, and it's bedlam in Amalie Arena. I don't know. I keep saying I don't think I've ever heard it that loud, but I don't think I've ever heard it that loud. That was, and then those last 5 minutes, they just suffocated the Rangers.
How about the Rangers? The last 5 minutes had 2 shots on goal.
Two shots on
both
goal.
were from the outside.
Yeah.
We've been over it so many times to recall, but it just seems like every time the Lightning are in a big time situation, I can't find a better team at shutting it down. I'm amazed. I'm continuously amazed by it. I mean, 2 shots in the final 5 minutes with your season on the line, a shot to go to the Stanley Cup Final. 2 shots.
Yeah.
That's it.
Insane. And this is what this team does. I mean, yes, Vasilevsky is there for the big save when they need it, and he made a couple of big ones in the end there. But for the most part, his team is just battling their ass off and will not allow any time and space for any of those players. And you just can't get a shot off. You can't get a shot off. And it's clinical. And I know the Avs are probably looking at the tape right now, and I wonder what they're thinking. Like, I wonder, they're probably thinking, oh, we're faster, we're better. We'll be able to figure this out. But I don't think you can understand it until the Lightning put their press on you, and it's tough.
Yeah, like I said in the opening, they really just suffocate their opponents. They frustrate them. That's what they do to all these highly talented teams, because the Lightning have learned they can, if they want to play 1-0, if they want to play 2-1 hockey, they can do it. They can do it. And I think that's the big key going to the Stanley Cup. Can Colorado do that? Because like you said, there's not going to be a 9-6 game in this series. And I know these two teams are capable of doing it. The Lightning can play that way. But the difference is the Lightning know that if they play that way, they're going to open it up to where you do it as well.
Right.
And they'd rather just shut you down and play a way that you can't.
Yeah.
And that's really the beauty of the Lightning right now. So to your point, I think Colorado, that's going to be very interesting to see how they react to this in game one.
Yeah. And see how rusty they are. I just think they have not played a team remotely like the Lightning. Remotely like that.
But I will say this, though. If you're looking for, the two best teams in hockey, the Stanley Cup final, the Stanley Cup playoffs are a crapshoot sometimes. It's about who gets hot at the right time, who's made for that. I think you can definitively say we're getting the two best teams in hockey.
No question about it.
Absolutely.
No question.
And I can't say that about last year when Montreal had their little fluke run.
Right.
Dallas the year before kind of got hot at the right time. This is going to be the toughest test, no doubt about it, for the Lightning over this run.
Yeah, and I think having gone through the gauntlet of the East.
And as the underdog in every single series.
Yep.
And not having home ice advantage.
It's like they don't even care. No. So what? In fact, they do like starting on the road. They do like that. Regaining home ice advantage. It seems to be a good formula for them, and they win. They're going to win in 6 or 7. They'll either win it on home ice or shut it down in a game 7. All right, let's hear from John Cooper after the game. And a lot of these questions aren't necessarily specific to the game. It's more about the team and the makeup of the team and how they keep doing it. Thought it was a very, very interesting press conference from John Cooper. He really does give thoughtful answers. Way better than our friend Gerard Gallant, who refused to answer why some of his key players didn't play, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever. Here's the man.
Legacy,
Coop.
history, and everything else with this team. And I know you're still in the middle of this. How hard is it to not look at that history when you are in the middle of it?
It's just sitting up here right now and thinking of the magnitude of like going to a third Stanley Cup final. You grow up as a kid, and I was not near good enough to play in this league. But when you're growing up in Canada, you always dream about having your name on the Stanley Cup. And to get there the first time was, it was a dream come true. To get there a second time, like the next year, was like, it was like a dream. Like, there's no way we're going back. And to go a third time is unthinkable. Like that, and you got to look at the players. And I sit back and I'm just impressed. I'm impressed by them. It's impressive what they've done. And to watch their growth, watch the pain. Shit, maybe Torts is right. Maybe he did create a monster, because they. I'm utterly impressed by what they do to win a hockey game, and the fact that they have every excuse in the world to not. Because nobody would fault them. They're saying, hey, you won one, you won two. And to come back and go for a third, I'm impressed. Like, it's probably not the greatest word to use, but I'm damn impressed by this group.
All the way over here. John, the word you always use is the recipe, right? And, whether it was losing guys from last year, whether it was being down to Toronto or 2-0 to these guys, What is it with your room and your team that allows you guys to just believe in that process at every turn?
It's growth. is what it is. It's a mindset growth that has taken time. This didn't happen overnight. We were in the Stanley Cup Final in 2015. We'd been swept the year before. We lost a Game 7 in 2016. Didn't make the playoffs in 17. Lost in a Game 7 of the conference finals in 2018. I mean, you weren't asking me that question then, although you were covering another sport then. But and it takes time. But you have to give credit to, like, Jeff Vinnick and Steve Yzerman and Julian Brisebois, and they kept the group together, believing in the long term and not just knee-jerk reaction and saying, you know what, this has got to blow up, because 2019 was an easy one. That was an easy out. But when you get knocked around and you get knocked down that many times and the team still comes back, you've got something. It just took us some time. And now they're back, and they just keep coming back to back to back. And it's like I said, it's so awesome to be a part of, but it takes a lot of belief, a lot of courage, and a group from the owner all the way down to stick together and say, okay, this is our general manager, and this is our coach, and this is our captain, and this is our goalie, and we're doing this together, even though there are going to be bumps in the road. It's paying off, and they're being rewarded for sticking with the group.
Yeah, I mean, that it should not go understated there.
Yeah, the whole thing about that soundbite, how many sports franchises have you ever heard a head coach talk about the entire thing top to bottom like that? Like, you really can't find, like, what's the flaw in the Lightning organization? What's the flaw?
That's why they're the best.
Well, I mean, seriously,
I can't
find one.
And I don't see it. And look how different the landscape is in the NHL. I mean, you got guys winning Stanley Cups that are leaving their franchise, and Barry Trotz, whether he was fired, forced out, or wanted to leave. That doesn't happen here.
That was definitely the point I was about to say.
You got look at Bruce Cassidy. Look what he's done in Boston. I mean, can you put their failures at his feet? No. I mean, they're just and now they're going to break up this team. You hear them talking about, getting rid of Pasternak, you get rid of the coach. It's knee-jerk reaction. I mean, and trust me, the Lightning could have done the same to John Cooper, and he just can't get us over the hump. After that, I think he actually got the extension right before the Columbus series, right?
He did. It was a month prior.
Yeah. But there was never any, I guarantee you there are franchises that would have fired him after the Columbus debacle.
100%.
Yeah, no question about it. But that's not what the Lightning do. They're smarter than that. Jeffrey Vinnick is smarter than that. I don't know if it's his business background to, that you have to wait out the markets sometime or whatever it is. But I've never seen a better owner. I've never seen a better organization. And, and I do have, obviously I am biased. I work for the organization, but I also get the advantage of seeing how they run their business from the inside. And it's nothing but excellence. They no detail goes unlooked at. I mean, from the charcuterie board in the Chase Club to all the way down to, to keeping the coach and keeping these players and doing whatever it takes. And how about Jeffrey Vinnick paying over the salary cap when he has to? Wink, wink.
Yeah, it's everything about it. It's world class. And I listened to his answer, though, about, they could have, an easy one would have been to break this whole thing up after 2019.
Yeah.
And believe me, I was probably in that camp of people that said X, and X has to go and you have to restart and shape yourself.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. They did not do that. They kept going back at it. And you're sitting here now with 2 cups going on a third. And that's why John Cooper, in my opinion, we talked about it a little bit last year, he feels almost underrated as a coach because he's never won the Jack Adams Award. And this year, he probably won't even finish top 10 in the voting for whatever reason. But make no mistake about it, this is the best coach in the National Hockey League. Because as Brian Bradley said last week, I believe, if he was on the available market, number one choice for every team is John Cooper. It didn't matter if you're coached by Barry Trotz or if you're coached by name whoever. This is the guy. And I think that's interesting. If other teams, and I don't really care if other teams do or not, that's their problem. But are other teams going to follow suit, like the Torontos of the world, of the Floridas, who again, it's easy for them right now to go, yeah, let's break this up. Let's change. Same thing how the Islanders just did and how the Bruins just did.
Yep.
This is the example of why you should not break it up and why you just keep pounding at that rock. But again, maybe the Lightning are just the outlier. And I'm fine with that.
It's interesting in this time of super change and knee-jerk reactions. It's consistency that and you go through any sport. You look at just about any sport. It's the Bucks remained consistent, but went out and got Tom Brady and added Tom Brady. The Rams remain consistent. They didn't blow things up. They just went out and got their quarterback. Just add pieces. But even, but with the Lightning, it's and I was talking to some folks yesterday about this. A guy who's really underrated in this run is Julien Brisebois. The fact of the matter is Yzerman built this team. He built this team, and he built up the talent capital that allowed Brisebois to make some bold moves. You remember when he went out and got Goudreau and Coleman, and gave away first-round picks. Everybody was screaming that they gave away too much. Oh, he's a rookie GM. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's trying to blah, blah, blah. In the first year, he didn't do anything. And then he said, you know what? We need to change some things. But we got our core. We're going to lock up our core forever, and we'll be able to work other things. And guys taking less money, starting with Stamkos. Yeah. They've created a culture here of it's all about the organization. It's all about team, and it's not about me. And Brisebois, what he did this year with Hagel and Paul, tremendous. I mean, he knew that the status quo was not going to get it done. And look what those guys have done in the playoffs. How have they helped this team in the playoffs?
Yeah,
tremendously.
I don't know who would be playing the Nick Paul role or the Brandon Hagel role right now.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Again, I don't want to go back. I'm not here to poo-poo on Matthew Joseph or anything, but could he play that style? I don't know. Would Riley Nash really hold up if he had to play every single game? Nah. I don't think so. Nah. I mean, just credit to him. He created his own identity with this team. I mean, his first move, I think, one of his first big ones was after 2019. He moved off of JT Miller,
right?
Who has gone on to be a damn good player, almost at 100 points this year in Vancouver.
Yeah.
But remember, he couldn't play, and he just could not score it all in the playoffs.
Yep.
And he said, okay, that's the guy that's got to get out. I love Tyler Johnson.
Plus, he was going to be too expensive.
Yeah, I love Tyler Johnson to death, but it was time to move on.
Yep.
Right? There's a few other guys in there, and I think that.
And they didn't want to lose Yanni Gourde. That was just part of the process.
It just happened. Wish he was still here. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But knowing when to move on from the right guys and bring the right guys in and take those chances. Last year, David Savard, another one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We forgot about that. Great pickup.
You could just keep going on and on. He's created his own identity here in Tampa Bay, and he deserves as much credit, or if not more, as Yzerman, in my opinion.
I completely agree. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll hear a little bit more from John Cooper. We'll get into the Rays as well. We're going to have some Buck stuff for you. Mike Evans talked last week, but we haven't gotten to that. Some really good stuff from him. The Jack Del Rio controversy, I want to get into that. And Rory McIlroy takes a shot at Greg Norman with a 9-iron to the head. All coming your way. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back. The JP Peterson Show brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, big Lightning fan, big Bucks fan, Tampa Bay fan, and also the man if you have any construction defects whatsoever, if you've had some water intrusions, sinkholes is another one of his specialties. But the big thing right now is the work that has been used here in the Tampa Bay area over the past 10 to 15 years. It was a low-level stucco product that a lot of these builders, most popular builders, have been using, and it's developed a lot of cracks and leads to a lot of damage, especially if it's stucco on frame on a second story. You see a lot of those cracks, and the builders will tell you it's natural settling. Also, stucco can cost you tens of thousands of dollars in repairs, black mold, all that stuff. So get your situation right. And if you don't know whether you have a case or not, you don't know, that's why you call, because he's an expert at this, and his team will go right to work for you. And it's a free call to find out if you have a claim. And trust me, your homeowner's insurance is not going to help you with this. They will not, and they'll not give you what you deserve. So contact Christopher Palermo. Go to palermopa.com. You can send them an email, or you can give them a call. Just call them. They'll answer the phone, and they'll set you up with that free consultation. palermopa.com. Let him fight for you.
Hey, update real quick here on the Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
They're skating right now, and according to Joe Smith, who is there, Braden Point is centering a line with Nick Paul and Ross Colton, and that's significant because it's the first time he's doing line rushes in a full skate. So any indication he's going to play, I think that's the first one right there.
And folks, if you don't know the difference between the Lightning, with or without Braden Point, basically you're trading him out for Riley Nash. When they go, of course, we've done the 11-7, but for the most part, you would see, 12-6 with Braden Point. I would say easily one of the top 10 players in the league, top 5 two-way forwards. I would say no question about it, and the most clutch guy in the playoffs the past 2 years.
It's the power play for me.
Yeah,
it's the power play.
Yes,
Corey Perry, no disrespect to him. There is about 4 or 5 grade A chances that I think Braden Point buries on the power play in that series.
Yes.
The difference is because Braden Point will one-time those in. Corey Perry kind of just takes it first, then takes a step up and then shoots. And then by then it's too late on Shesterkin.
Yeah.
So that's where they really, I think, have missed Braden Point the most, to be honest with you. So if he can get back in that capacity, that's good enough for me.
I agree with you. No doubt. So that's good news. And it's even better news that they didn't have to bring him back early.
No.
And he's been skating and trying to get back, but again, the Lightning make the right decision. They don't hurt rushing back. It just, I don't know what kind of crystal ball they got, but it's working really, really well for them right now. All right. The Rays get a salvaging win here yesterday. I think the story of really this game, and kind of an underrated story, is Jeffrey Springs. 5 2/3 of scoreless ball again yesterday. 4 of his 7 starts, he's not given up a run. 2-2 with a 1.72 ERA as a starter. Had he gotten any real support, he'd basically be 3 or 4 games the better in terms of the win column. A 1.45 overall ERA. Hard to overstate what they're getting out of this guy. Tremendous stuff. And Randy Arozarena is heating up, folks. Yeah. He is really, really heating up. Got plunked twice yesterday and almost got into a brawl. And rightfully so. I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or whatever, but yeah, it didn't look right to me. He gets hit in the back and I think on the elbow too. I mean, two really tough shots. Comes back, steals a couple bases, makes some great outfield plays. I mean, this is what we need. We need these guys to get going.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, like kind of how Brandon Lau is, very streaky, but when he's on that hot streak, he can carry a ball club for a few weeks. And I know the Rays, they did drop this series to Minnesota, who I believe have beaten them now 4 of the 6 meetings this year. So for whatever reason, just not great against Minnesota. Rocco's got their number. But to get the win yesterday with a shutout, Jeffrey Springs, I mean, talk about impact. Ryan Yarborough's in AAA now, because Jeffrey Springs was so good during that time.
And Yarbrough got lit up yesterday in AAA.
Yeah, because Yarbrough got lit up. He got lit up yesterday in AAA. He got lit up his last outing before he got sent down to AAA. But Jeffrey Springs, the 1.45 ERA, I know he isn't qualified to be for the innings. He's got 49 2/3, I think, innings pitched, but that would be first in baseball. First in baseball, Jeffrey Springs, ERA if he qualified. Hello.
And by the way, Shane McClanahan, and he'd move above Shane McClanahan.
Oh yeah.
So you got 2 lefties now in the and I don't want to go crazy about Springs just yet, because it's still somewhat of although 7 games as a starter is a decent sample size.
It's a good sample size.
But it's not, it's not to the point where teams are seeing him for a second and third and fourth time over the season. So you got to let it like it has been with McClanahan.
Yeah, Kevin Cash is being really smart. 5 innings, maybe 6 if you're lucky out of him, and then the bullpen is so good for the Rays. I mean, you can afford to. And in a game like yesterday, I think the Rays were up 5-0 by the time Springs went out of the game. So there's no point in pushing that for him. But you can't overstate that. Another under the radar trade that Eric Neander made a couple years ago.
Where did we get him from?
From Boston.
Yeah.
The Rays traded, I believe it was Heriberto Hernandez, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of those catcher, Ronaldo Hernandez. They had two of them. One of them was flipped to Boston, and they got Jeffrey Springs out of that deal. So another very under the radar move that's worked out for the Rays, which is crazy. But yeah, Jeffrey Springs, fantastic. And we also got to see Shane Baz for the first time on Saturday.
Started well.
He started well, and then
he just lost it.
He just lost it, the Grand Slam. But maybe not worked up completely yet for big league ball, but still good to see him back, because when he started great, I was like, damn, this guy can.
The stuff is the stuff. The stuff is the stuff. It's not. He's going to have to, mentally kind of. Obviously, he's still so freaking young. He spent very little time at AAA. I mean, he's been. I don't want to say rushed to the minors. He's just been so dominant. It's like, well, we got to move him up. We just got to move him up. He's not going to get any better here. So he's a little bit of a, kind of a phenom still. So it's gonna take some time mentally for him to kind of settle in. But the stuff is the stuff. Not worried whatsoever. It's just good to have him back healthy and ready to go. And Patino, by the way, dominating his rehab start the other day. I think he struck out 5 of the 7 guys that he saw. So he's going to go to Durham to get a little bit of work, and he could be back pretty soon as well. And my guess is he doesn't go back into the rotation, or could. I mean, I don't think it really matters, to be honest with you. They're going to be able to use him in some high leverage situations. But again, the stuff is the stuff with Patino, and hopefully he can get back as well.
Yeah. And of course, we always talk about the Rays offense and maybe the inconsistency of it. And you were mentioned to me the discussion about like Brett Phillips, for example, who I believe is down to 168 at the plate.
And 0 for 31.
0 for 31 streak. He just shaved his face after he snapped it, he said. But I guess it's a real discussion. Is it time for Josh Lowe to come back up here? And I have his stats right here so far in Durham. He's had the 32 games played, 5 homers, 29 ribbies, hitting .289, 876, 874 OPS. So clearly, that's right in line with what he's been doing in the minors his entire career. So not surprising, but are we at that point where it's time? The Rays have a lot of injuries right now, both pitching and on the offense end. Is it time for Josh Lowe? As much as we love Brett Phillips, is it time for Josh Lowe to be up here right now?
It feels like blasphemy to say that Brett Phillips, because I don't know if he goes down, is he going to be at Durham? I don't think so.
I'm not sure if he has any options left.
Probably not.
I don't know at this point, but I understand it. He's the heart and soul of this team in so many ways.
They're 10 games over 500.
Fan favorite. You want him in there. His defense.
He does. He's versatile. Great defense. Can pinch run. He and the intangibles he brings are just off the charts. They're off the charts. I mean, and I think it's a big part of what they do in winning. I think it's a big part of a team that you look at their numbers and you say, I don't know how the hell they're 10 games over 500. It's because of guys like him and those contributions. Because he single-handedly won, I know, at least 2 games with walk-offs, if I'm not mistaken, and then maybe 3 or 4 with just dominating the play. So, that's a big deal. But 0 for 31, and he's never been a consistent hitter.
No.
I saw some of his at-bats this weekend, and they're bad.
Overpowered.
Overpowered. He took a 93 mile an hour fastball right down the middle of the plate on a 1-2 count. I mean, when you're seeing stuff like that, he's swimming. Like, he just doesn't know where he's at right now. You can't not swing at that pitch. You're guessing. You're looking for other stuff. Right now, it's not good at the plate.
And the thing is, I would have told you at the beginning of the year, we had the discussion, would you rather see Brett Phillips in there or Kevin Kiermaier? Right now, I'm not moving Kiermaier out of the lineup for anything.
7th home run. I mean, leads the Rays with 7 home runs.
I know he's only hitting at the 229 clip, whatever, but right now he's locked. I mean, for him, he's locked in at the plate and leading the Rays with 7 home runs. Kevin Kiermaier, for crying out loud. I mean,
and 7 home runs. Oof.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. He's hitting,
you just keep coming back to it. They're 10 games over 500.
They're 10 games over 500. So who am I to question?
You can't always just look at the record. You got to look inside the analytics and say, is this going to last? Of course, they got they're going to New York for starting
4.
Yeah, and then won 5 in a row now.
The Yankees, they've won 4 in a row, 9 of their last 10, and they just won 18-4 yesterday. And they picked up Matt Carpenter off the streaks, who was cut twice last year. He has 24 at-bats for the Yankees this year, 6 home runs, 13 RBIs, in 24 at-bats. That's something the Rays would do, not the Yankees.
And a Tom Selleck stash that is just for the ages.
Fantastic.
For the ages.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing for the Rays, too, to keep in mind. The AL East, of course, is a gauntlet. The Rays right now would be in first place in the AL Central and the NL Central. And look at the AL, the American League. They have 4 teams in the AL East over 500. Four. There's only 3 other teams in the rest of the AL that are over 500. There's 4 in the AL East. And the Rays are 10 games over 500 having to play these teams all the time.
Yeah, they're going to have to start playing them a lot more. You're going to see a lot of Toronto and Boston and New York and the Orioles, thankfully. Yeah. But it's right now, I still don't they haven't played their best ball. I still think we played their B- ball. I mean, they continue to just run into outs like the dumbest team
Randy
I've ever seen.
Arozarena has the most times, I think, caught on the base pass this year.
Yes.
And at first you might think like, oh, it's a fluke, it'll end. This is a thing now for Randy Arozarena.
And not just him, it's the entire. And I know we have to be aggressive on the base pass because of the lack of power in this offense, but it's becoming ridiculous. I mean, some of the there was Brujan yesterday got thrown out at third when he's standing on second base, and of course, next hitter gets a base hit, would have scored.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pissing away a lot of runs by getting caught on the bases, making it because it makes it so much easier for the pitcher. That's one out less that he has to get and less pitches he has to throw. It's a snowball effect that you're just giving away an out that they're not really earning. And a lot of the times it's not even worth the risk. It's just,
It's those little things that we have not seen from the Rays in a long time.
Yeah.
Of playing great
base
defense,
running has not been good. Defense has not been good. I mean, pitching obviously has been really, really good. And offensively, for the most of the season, they've not been good. They're still, I think, languishing in the lower half of the Major League Baseball in runs scored.
They're piecing it together, though. Yeah. They're piecing together. We know there's no Wander Franco here. There's no.
And by the way, he's going to start ramping up his physical activity today. He's got a workout scheduled for today. So hopefully that quad has been rested and he can get back to it.
Yeah, there's no Brandon Lau in the lineup. There's no Wander Franco. There's a lot of guys kind of scuffling along. But I mean, there has been encouraging signs lately. We mentioned Randy Arozarena. Vidal Brujan seems like he's finally getting comfortable.
Yeah.
He's starting to get some hits. I believe he's on a 4-game hit streak or 5-game hit streak here. So that's good to see. Isaac Paredes hit another bomb on Friday night, which I like to see him get a little bit more consistent at the plate, but clearly you see the potential there, the power potential. It's there for Isaac Paredes. So continuing to get him more opportunities. But here we go in New York now, a 3-game set starting tomorrow, and you're getting Cole, Cortez, and Severino. You're getting their big 3 in these games. Good thing McClanahan's going to be in this series as well. Interested to see how he goes there in Yankee Stadium. Can the Rays get 2 out of 3 against the Yankees here? Can we get 2 out of 3? I don't know.
I want to.
I want to really bad right now because the Yankees are. I can't understate this. They're running away with the entire division right now. It's getting to a point where it's almost too much. And I know it's early, but still.
But, does it matter if you win the division or you're in the wild card situation? As long as you don't have to play in the not all wild cards are playing in that in the 1-game playoff. I'm trying to remember now what the new format is.
The whole system is so weird now. It's because we got 7 teams that are making it?
Yeah. I'll have to review that.
We'll have to review it a little bit.
We don't change playoff formats for like 100 years. And now we're doing it every year.
We're doing it in every sport, too.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, Brian Bradley's going to join us, and we will I'll also be giving you the lowdown on tickets for the Stanley Cup Final because things are happening behind the scenes. We'll tell you about that when we come back. Stay with us.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? you go to defilava.com. The folks at defilava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at defilava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at defilava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at defilava.com.
Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-56. Bad habits. So call for an appointment. Maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at palermopa.com. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, if you're looking for a new primary care physician, this is the place for you. Christopher Lugo and his medical team over there will take great care of you, and they're using modern techniques, modern philosophies to get your immune system boosted up, which is obviously critical in this day and age. And if you're looking to lose weight, another great place they can do that for you as well. They keep our pilots in tip-top condition. Christopher Lugo is part of the medical team in the National Guard, and they can do the same for you. Looking for testosterone replacement therapy, that's another thing that Christopher Lugo does very, very well, has great experience in that it's all encompassing and personalized medical program. So check them out at BAMMC.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Brian Bradley, Lightning's first All-Star and leading scorer those first few years, and now at the morning skates. What's going on? I hear Braden Point's out there skating, partner. What's up?
Yeah, he's not the morning skate right now, JP. The Bolts are on the ice. They just finished about a 30-minute workout. They're doing power play right now, and Point is on the ice. He is on the power play. So to me, Point is playing on Wednesday night. That's my guess.
Nice.
I would say he's good to go. He looks good, skating good. They just did the first power play unit with, Stamkos, Point, Kucherov and Palat. And it looked really good moving the puck around. So he took part in the practice. The only one that didn't skate was Corey Perry. He was not on the ice. Probably just doing some body maintenance and stuff like that, maybe from last series. But they're working on power play units right now. So it's all good. The two-time defending Stanley Cup champions, Eastern Conference champions for a third year. So it's all good. They look good. They're having fun on the ice. They're leaving today for Denver. I think they got a flight at 2:00 or 2:30.
Okay. Hey, so he was also on the line rushes, Pointer. Did you see who he was with? I think, what did Joe Smith report?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, JP. All the lines were pretty well the same. Pointer was out there with Ross Colton and
Nick Paul
and Nick Paul.
Yeah.
So he was playing center, but remember Corey Perry was in the lineup, and then they had Riley Nash on the fourth line with Belmar and Maroon. So I mean, you know what? I'm nothing set in stone on the line combinations, but I'm going to assume that he moves up. Maybe he starts on the third line and they move him into another unit, because let's be honest, the other units are playing good. Stamkos, Kucherov, flat really well. Cirelli's line with Killorn and Hagel, they've been awesome. So you know what? Maybe Point starts on that third line with Ross Colton and Nick Paul. That'd be a great line. Now you got three rock lines going. So let's see what happens tomorrow. All the guys, like I said, Vazzy's on. Everybody's on the ice. So they're having a good skate. They leave today, and you know what? They had a day off yesterday. So it all begins against Colorado on Wednesday night. Great series. The two best teams in the NHL playoffs are playing each other. I mean, you know what? We've been outstanding in the playoffs. Colorado's been the best team pretty well in the league all year. Them in Florida during the regular season. But you know what? In the playoffs, our guys just know how to turn it up one level. What a great game Saturday night.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that game on Saturday night, Brads. What can you say about the captain, Steven Stamkos? He has done it all. In his 14th season, he's having arguably his best season ever. He leads the Lightning in goals in these playoffs. He's blocking shots. He's kicking ass in fights. I mean, this is just and his speed and doggedness and determination out there. It's at another level. What can you say about Stammer?
Well, you know what? He's the captain of the team, and you know what? Probably 2 years ago when they were in the bubble, he had those injuries and with his abdomen and all that stuff, and only played a game, won the cup. And last year he came back and had some more stuff, but had a good year. This year, everybody didn't really think he was going to have a good season. And you know what? He got to work out and get his body ready, and man, he's played unbelievable. And you know what? He had a great season and a great playoff with 9 goals so far. And you know what? He's the leader, the captain of the team, him and Hedman. And you know what? I can't say enough. What he did the other night, the 2 goals. One, he just ripped a shot. I think Sorokin, he just never even saw it. Went in the net, and then after they scored on a power play goal for us to get the winning goal with 21 seconds later. You can't say enough about Steven Stamkos. He's just been unbelievable. And you know what? Him and Hedman. Kucherov. That's the thing about it, is when the chips are down and we need to get somebody to score a goal, those guys produce all the time. That's why they're big-time players. Our star players know when they need to turn it up, and everybody counts on them to do it. Don't kid yourself, because you know what? When the chips are down, hey, we got Pat Maroon, Corey Perry scoring. Cirelli's been great, Hagel. Yeah. But when they need a goal and the games are tight, those big guys know how to turn it up, and everybody on the team's cheering for him. Trust me, they know those guys. They gotta turn it to a new level, and you know what? They do it all the time. That's why they won 2 Stanley Cups and going for 3.
And Brian, we talked about all year. I mean, where the Lightning kind of growing complacent. How do you muster up the energy after you won 2 Stanley Cups to go for a third and falling back on that? Well, we won 1 cup. Well, we won 2 cup. That hasn't happened. And I mean, just you think that would happen to something. We've seen it happen to other teams that have tried to go for the trifecta, and it hasn't happened to the Lightning. I mean, what is it, the mentality about this team that has propelled them to keep going and go after that third where other teams have just failed in doing so?
Yeah, they just know what they need to do to win games, guys. I mean, that's it. At the end of the day, I mean, you can't play this style of play in the playoffs for 82 games during the regular season. Right. Blocking shots, sacrificing your body, play at this pace, play at this tempo, play at this structure. You just can't do that during an 82-game season. So, you know what? We never were sure if they were going to turn it on, weren't going to turn it on. Against Toronto at the beginning, they were okay. And then all of a sudden in Game 6, they needed to win a game. They're down 3-2. Doesn't happen. It's against the Lightning. They won Game 6, won Game 7, and they've just been on fire. Vasilevsky's picked this game. Kucherov, Point. Kucherov, Stamkos has been unbelievable. All the guys, even though Cirelli, Brendan Hagel and Korn haven't scored a goal in the last series, they were outstanding. Yep. They were shut down the other team's number 1 line. They're in your face. I thought Cirelli's line was just as good as any other line on the Lightning. And, then you got the defensive department with our big 4. I mean, when you talk about Hedman, Ryan McDonough, Sergachev, and Chernak, those guys are big guys, big bodies, take the middle of the ice away. They're unbelievable. And you know what? Bogosian's played well, and Rudis come in and did a good job. And, feel bad for the kid. Cal Foote, he's played exceptionally well, but just can't get in the lineup right now.
No room.
But you know what? Those guys are amazing. Look at Patty Maroon going for 4 Stanley Cups. Wow. Can you imagine that? He'd be the only guy to do that since back in the 80s. Mario Lemieux hasn't did it. Yeah. Eiserman hasn't did it. All these guys haven't did it. Patty Maroon's doing something that no one's did in the last 30 years.
And it's
you know what?
It's not like he's just along for the ride. I mean, he's scoring big goals.
No.
He's getting in the right areas. Yeah. He's winning pucks. I mean, he's contributing. There's no doubt about it. And you see that across the board. You mentioned Vasi, Brian, and these numbers are off the chart. In 8 clinching games, his last 8 clinching games, he saved 219 of 221 shots. That's a .991 save percentage and a .25 goals against. That's in the biggest games against the best competition. It's not against AAA. You couldn't do that against AAA hockey teams. And here he is doing it in the biggest moments. I mean, what can you say about this guy in the big moments?
You can't say enough about Andre Vasilevsky. He is, he's incredible to watch. And you know what? Everybody on every team in the NHL knows that. It's just hard to fix it to the next level. It's unbelievable to see. He's just that good. And you know what? I said it the other day on TV, and you know what? I'm going to say it right now. You know what? We are looking at a goalie in Tampa Bay Lightning history and in the NHL that if they can win another cup here and they keep only on, and he will, to me, to go down as the best goalie to ever play in the NHL. I played against Patrick Roy. I played against Marty Brodeur. I played against Dominic Hasek. Let me tell you, they're all amazing goalies and worthy of their Hall of Fame. But if Vasilevsky keeps winning and playing, he's better. He's going to be better. And and when you're even in that category with those guys, it's unbelievable. But that's the way he is. He's the best goalie in the NHL, and he's by far. He's unbelievable. He gives your team a win every night. And he's been playing great, guys. Look at his numbers. JP, you said the numbers. Yeah. Those are ridiculous stats.
I mean, it seems like it's literally unheard of on any level. And what this team is doing, Brian, in a salary cap era is even more amazing. And it's not just in the NHL. I mean, across the sports landscape, I think they would be only the 3rd team to win 3 in a row in the past 50 years in any sport. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And talking in a salary cap era, I mean, this is amazing. And you got to give a lot of credit to Julien Brisebois for the changes that he's made. He's had to let a lot of good players go, but he went out and found a lot of good players as well. So what can you say about the longevity of this team? Now 6 finals in the last 8 years, Eastern Conference finals, and now 3 Stanley Cup finals in a row.
Yeah, I mean, the whole organization, we got to give credit to. It's just incredible, what they did over the time and stuff like that. I mean, Mr. Vinnick and, Steve Griggs, our CEO, and then, you look at Julian Brisebois and the coaching staff with John Cooper. I mean, unbelievable. And I said this before, it just amazes me that John Cooper's never won Coach of the Year. Yeah. How does that even happen?
Yeah.
I mean, God, he's just the best coach to me in the NHL, and did not get recognized by his peers and other people with some of the stuff we did. I think it's crazy. But, I mean, the organization for what they've accomplished. And, you look at when they lost in the Stanley Cup Finals in Chicago in 2015, we still got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys on this team.
Yeah.
So they know what it takes. They've been here.
Yeah.
They won. They're going for 3 in a row, but they remember they lost one. They could have had another one.
I know.
But Chicago was a good team, and they beat us.
Yeah.
But they learned a lot from that. So at the end of the day, I mean, we got Colorado next, guys, and it's going to be a great series. They got some great players. And you know what? The difference maker to me is going to be in goaltending.
Yep.
Darcy Kemper, I mean, I don't know. I mean, his record's 6-2, but he's been injured. He's got some problems. And at the end of the day, can he beat Vasilevsky in net? Everybody says they can. What? We've won 11 series in a row.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think Pat Maroon's won 15 series in a row.
Jiminy,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's unbelievable.
They're going back to St. Louis when they won the Cup.
Yeah.
That's like crazy numbers. So, at the end of the day, so happy and proud for these guys with the Lightning organization. And you know what? They deserve everything. No one expected them to get here. Everybody talked about Toronto was going to win. Everybody talked about the Florida Panthers were going to win. I thought we could probably beat the Rangers, but we had to go through adversity. And you know what? The leadership, the captain, Hedman, Stamkos, all the guys in the team. And you know what? They're getting better. That's even scary.
Yeah.
Brendan Hagel looks great now. I mean, Nick Paul looks amazing. Everybody's blending in now. And you know what? We're getting someone back, too, that we haven't seen for a couple rounds. Braden Point is coming back. So that's going to be huge.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, Brad, you've played at altitude in Denver. How much harder is it? How much harder is it? And when the Lightning are playing at this level where their energy expenditure is just, that's one of their winning edges. They just play harder than the other team. Will that be negated at all just because the Colorado players are so used to playing at altitude and the Lightning players are not?
Yeah, it's going to be a factor. They're going to have to go short shifts. They're going to have to get their legs underneath them for the first period because, I played in Calgary, which is just as high or higher. And you know what? When you go out there for training camp and you go out there if you train at sea level, and you know what? It takes you a couple of weeks to get used to the altitude and stuff like that. So it will be a factor, but they have the oxygen and stuff on the bench and stuff. So, you're playing in the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, they all know what's at stake. So it will be a factor, but you know what? I don't know how much. You know what I mean?
And looking at this series, I'm looking over at Colorado, and we know the skill that they have. They have as much skill, I'd say, as probably the Lightning do. High-end talent. And everybody looks at, the Kel McCarrs of the world and Devon Tays, who is also a really good defender next to him. But do you think they have that sandpaper in them on the blue line? Because I look at the Lightning. I mean, we forget how big these guys are on defense, and it's not the same over there for Colorado. It's a lot of skill. Do you think that's one of the biggest, points of emphasis in this series is the Lightning having the physical advantage over Colorado?
Yeah, our defensemen, when you look at our defensemen, not only they're big, fast, move the puck, they're physical. And they're big. They're big. Sergachev, McDonough, Hedman, Chernak, they're not small. They play bruising minutes, all of them. And, then you got Bogosian. He's just as tough. And then you got Ruda. He can go out there and handle his own thing. So, we're a big physical defenseman that can move. They don't give them a lot of credit for that. But at the end of the day, it's hard to get into that scoring area against those guys because they're so big and they're physical and they play the body. So, you know what? The key to the whole series to me is going to be goaltending is one. And the other one is going to be the neutral zone. We like to play structured. We're not going to run and gun and try and win the game 8-6. We like to be aggressive in the neutral zone. And you know what? make them make mistakes like we did against the Rangers and the Panthers. But the key is Colorado loves the neutral zone. They like to fly in the neutral zone. They like to use their speed. They like to get everything going in the neutral zone. So we're going to have to control that area to shut them down. And, it's not going to be easy. Cale Makar, the defenseman, he's unbelievable. I mean, he's the real deal. And, Nate McKinnon, they got some guys that can fly. They are missing a good player. I'm going to tell you right now, Nazem Kadri, he broke his thumb, I think. He's going to be missed big time. With him in the lineup, they're definitely a different team. So you know what? Hey, we went through 2 series without a point. He's back. They're going to miss him. But at the end of the day, we got to control the neutral zone to win the series. And, we have to be physical. Just like I said against Adam Fox, we have to be physical against Cale Makar. Dump it in this corner, hit him, make him pay the price. At the end of the series, Adam Fox wasn't getting many points. And you know what? It changed the series around. First 2 games, we let him skate around, do whatever he wants. You got to be like that against Cale Makar because he's even better.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I had said in the opening was like the Lightning 2, or the Avalanche rather. Sorry about that. The Avalanche did not have to face a goaltender near the talent of Vasilevsky in any of the 3 rounds. If you recall, they did not get Saros in the first round, which was a big thing against Nashville. The second round, Binnington, obviously the whole Kadri play, was out. They had to face Ville Husso. And then last round, Mike Smith is honestly a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get out of Mike Smith night to night. And now you get Andre Vasilevsky, and it's kind of the same way with the Rangers. It was the same exact thing. So do you kind of see the same thing as the Rangers had trouble scoring 5-on-5 against Vasilevsky, that we could be looking at the same thing here with Colorado?
Oh, for sure. Colorado hasn't faced a goalie like Vasilevsky. Even Shesterkin, they haven't faced anybody like that. They've been doing their stuff, playing the first every series they played. They've had just a backup. Yeah. They were in trouble against St. Louis until Binnington went down. They were going back to St. Louis 1-1. It could have been 2-0 for St. Louis because Binnington was playing so good. He got hurt in Game 3 with his knee and never came back. And then that's when they won 4-1. But if they don't lose Binnington, Colorado might not win that series. I'm going to be honest with you. St. Louis is playing great until they lost their goalie.
All right, Brad, it's great stuff, my friend. Thanks for all your time. We will check in with you as the series goes on, and cannot wait for Game 1 on Wednesday night. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Go Bolts.
You betcha. Over and out. Go Bolts.
Thanks, buddy. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We're going to talk some Buccaneer football and some other stories to get to the PGA Tour, the Jack Del Rio situation as well. So stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home Get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. We'll do a quick update on tickets. As a season ticket holder, I was in the pre-sale this morning and got on right at 11 o'clock. And by the time I got up, I was about 1,100 in line. And by the time I got up, all the tickets were gone and they were all resale on Ticketmaster at upper level tickets, about $1,500 a piece, lower level, like $3,000. I'm like, no, I think that the prices will definitely come down on the resale value. But right now, because people are just like trying to jack it up. So very, very interesting how that's going down. So you could still get Lightning Thunder Alley tickets, so maybe grab a couple of those.
I was gonna say that's where you're gonna catch me. I'll be buying those today. I will not be paying those exorbitant prices for for
it's
any
crazy.
game.
Yeah, I'm looking at game 4. Yeah, $1,156, section 310, row H, section 117, row G. So that is where that's like that's on the blue line, going for $2,400 each. Section 327 row M going for $950. So upper level tickets, $950. I think there's one for $750. That's the lowest I've seen right now, but I think those will come way, way down. People are just trying to gouge right now and get what they can get, but good for them. And we'll see where the market goes to, but I don't think it'll remain at $800 for upper level tickets. I think that'll probably come down to about $300-$400, but we'll see. It all depends on demand. As you get at the mid-level time is when you can sell them at the boats. It gets closer, people will try to get as much money as they can, and then they'll drop as it goes past puck drop. So, we'll see what they can do in terms of go on Ticketmaster and see what you got. I think the general sale for the public will start tomorrow, but they'll all be resales. And It ain't going to be cheap going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Ain't no doubt about that. That's why you got to be a season ticket holder, because I do have 2 tickets in my season tickets for those games. So at least we'll have those to go to. And I saw the prices, the face value prices for the Colorado ones, and they were relatively cheap. And I don't know what the face value was, because by the time I got on, there were no face value tickets left. So there's your tickets. There's your ticket update right there. All right, I want to get back to playing some sound from the Buccaneers. Mike Evans, I don't know if you have that one queued up. Mike Evans talked this past week, and he had his annual gala last night. And I think Bruce Arians spoke to some of the folks in the media. And by the way, I know Rick Stroud wrote a piece this past week about the whole Arians Brady thing, and I wrote one about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, after the Arians press conference and the Bowles press conference, and I got to talk to Bowles and Arians and the Glazers and Jason Light. And that's I retweeted it the other day, so you can go on my Twitter. I'll retweet it again today. Very similar to what Rick wrote this past weekend. And when you put all the pieces together, I still think there's going to be this narrative out there that Brady pushed Arians out, and I don't believe that. At one point, I thought there was maybe a little bit of a nudge, but the more and more you talk to people, and the more and more you talk to Bruce Arians, which I've done, you can see that there is a sincerity in his heart, and also he's completely comfortable with his legacy. Number one, which I think he absolutely solidified by action, not words, not virtue signaling, but actually doing something and handing the keys over to Todd Bowles when he didn't get another gig, and Byron Leftwich didn't get another gig. But obviously, I think Leftwich is going to be a head coach, and probably in the next cycle. I don't think there's any question about that. And we had even brought up, early on in the offseason, is it time for Arians to move upstairs and clear the way for Bowles or Byron Leftwich? Byron definitely, who got an offer from the Jags but decided not to take it. And I think I was smart, by the way.
Very.
And not work with Trent Baalke, their GM. He's going to get a better opportunity, and he knows, and Arians knows that. But will Bowles get another opportunity? And I think that's something that really hit Arians hard. I think he saw that, the last 2 years he was not getting a job, and there were a lot of openings. And I think he realized if he didn't hand the keys to Todd Bowles, that he may never get another shot. And I think that was a big reason why one of the big reasons why he did it. And also with Brady coming back, he knew that this team, he really wasn't going to be an instrumental part, because the offense is kind of morphed into the Leftwich Brady offense. It's not so much Arians and his play calling anymore. Of course, he wasn't calling the plays anyway. So I think he saw that this was the time. But again, in this sport, in any sport, especially at this level, the highest level, you don't see people do this. They don't give up opportunities like this to coach Tom Brady for another year and win a Super Bowl. They just don't do it. And I think this narrative that it's all been about, because it's the negative narrative and people want to talk about this. Nobody wants to think that there's actually somebody who would be this altruistic and do something like this, like Bruce Arians would do, because nobody does it in this day and age. But that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. And that's why he's going in the Ring of Honor this year. It's not because of some payoff. And that's why I think Bruce Arians needs to be, we're not going to talk about this, because, the negative part, everybody wants to talk about. But when somebody does something like this, and I don't know if I should say this, and it's no reflection on any of these men, but it's a reflection on how the world views things. Everything is viewed through a racial lens, right? But are we going to talk about the fact that this older white man gave way to his protege and gave him an opportunity? Nobody's going to talk about that part of it. Nobody, because it doesn't fit the narrative. But we could talk about it. And I think if you're going to have the narrative both ways, you should talk about this. Should you not?
Well, I think when you go back, and we've been over it, when you go back and look at the whole timeline of Bruce Arians' career as a person in this game of football, he's been Mr. Opportunity. He's going to give you an opportunity to sink or swim, regardless of what your race is or your gender or anything. And the fact is, the Buccaneers have the most diverse staff in the NFL, and frankly, it's not even close. It's not close at all. And Bruce Arians has been a big proponent of that. And Todd Bowles, going back, he's known him for 40 some odd years, going back to their days together at Temple. I mean, Bruce Arians has to feel almost like a proud father almost. He probably has been a father figure to Todd Bowles in ways. It has to feel like that, handing him the keys to this Ferrari, as we say.
Yeah.
And maybe the final year of Tom Brady's career, I would probably say 90% is last year in Tampa Bay at least, and give Todd Bowles a chance to head coach a Super Bowl winning team. I mean, it's an honorable thing and a thing that you don't see often in today's world, or we just don't highlight it enough.
Right.
So I know when you saw the quotes that Bruce Arians told to Rick Stroud, I knew everybody was going to run with it, and the headline kind of writes itself. Arians admit, and listen, I'm saying that as somebody who wrote a story like that on Outkick based off of what they said.
Right.
That was the headline, but because it is what he said, but you have to read the story and get the quotes for context, and that's the huge point there. So I think it was an honorable and noble thing still by Bruce Arians, and whatever the drama was, whatever the disagreements were, that's in every locker room. It's in every locker room. We told you last week in regards to the quotes that Brady said about, talking to the Dolphins and not really denying it or agreeing to it, whatever. Guy's 44 years old at this point.
Right.
Clearly, he had a lot of discussions with like he said, about his next move in life. I mean, there's a reason why. And exactly. There's a reason why he's with Fox Sports for 10 years, $375 million.
Right.
Because he was negotiating his after career. And if the Dolphins were offering him spot in an ownership, whatever, of course he's going to listen. He's a businessman. These guys are athletes, but more and more, especially the big ones, they're businessmen. They listen to every offer.
Right.
So, like we said last week, too, I mean, you want him to be Mr. Buccaneer. He's not Mr. Buccaneer. I'm not going to go as far as say he's a mercenary, like you say, but he's not Mr. Buccaneer. He's, he's here to win Super Bowls. In the story.
Well, look, I say as a mercenary, I know it has a very negative connotation, but look, it is what it is. I mean, he is about him. That's all there is to it. And he's when he's on your team, it's great. It's fantastic. It's awesome. But I mean, let's not get it twisted. The reason he is here is because he loves, he loves winning, and this is the best opportunity for him to win. All right, let's get to the Mike Evans interview from last week. A lot of good stuff in this from Mike Evans, who I think is just one of the greatest leaders in the game today, and definitely for the Buccaneers.
Congratulations on the new addition to your family.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys sleeping much? I know sometimes it's hard when you got a newborn.
She's been good so far. She's been good.
Mike, just this week, get back out there. I know you had a couple of new faces all over the offense. Just what seems different? What stands out to you from the offensive group?
I'm just saying, just everybody's just really happy to be back, and I'm happy to be around the guys and see all the work that they've been putting in.
Have you got to look at any of the undrafted free agent wide receivers? Stephen Tompkins kind of looked like he impressed out there today.
He did really well today. He did his thing. All these young guys, they come in and they give me extra motivation because they just got so much juice and just they want to play. It's their dream. They want to make it. And just watching them work, it inspires me. So they've been doing great, and I hope I can help them along the way.
But Jared Stearns, he was quite a standout at Western Kentucky, little guy. You had a chance to watch any of his.
I watched a little bit of his tape, but he's not out there right now.
Mike, we don't know when Chris will be back. We hope it's week one, of course. But we brought in Russell Gage as a player you're familiar with playing against in Atlanta.
I like Russell.
So talk about him, and also does this? I can't imagine there'd be more pressure on you or more you can do, right? If Chris isn't out there, but what does that do to your core there?
I mean, Russ was a nice pickup this offseason, obviously. Got to get some work in with him. Watched him play for a few years in Atlanta. He could play. He's definitely going to help our team. Obviously, we want Chris back ASAP. He's one of the best players in the league, one of our leaders. We want him back. And I'm just doing my thing. Every year I'm just trying to be the best that I can be, and hopefully this will be my best season.
Mike, how long did it take you to get chemistry, would you say, with Tom Brady? And was there any sort of spot, maybe the first training camp or first season, where you said, hey, it's really starting to click?
Year by year, it gets better. So, right away, we haven't been spending as much time in the past. The first two off seasons I had with Tom was a lot of work, and we'd meet up and get work in the off season. But now we got 2 years under our belt, some playoff games, and we're familiar with each other. So each year it gets better and better, the chemistry.
Did you really? I'm sorry.
On that front, do you think there's something you could recommend to Russell Gage as far as, hey, here's how to get better with Tom faster?
I mean, just be in your spots. Tom's going to make sure that their connection is fine. So he's going to do his thing. Tom's going to make sure.
What was your reaction to first the retirement and then him coming out of retirement?
I was down here, and then I went up here. I had no reason to believe that he would come back. I mean, he's done everything and made a lot of money, best career ever, and he still wants to play. I mean, he just loves his game, and he loves his teammates, and he wants to win. He said there's a sour taste left in his mouth. It was one of mine as well. Happy we got him back for at least one more year.
What does that do for you when you play with a guy like that has so much passion for the game and has done everything? He's accomplished everything really anybody would ever want to set out to do, but there's still something that keeps him coming back. What is it like for you when you have somebody like that on the team? It's
added motivation. Everybody's motivated as can be. You know, this is our job, this is our livelihood. We do it for our families and things like that. But a guy that doesn't have to do it, he just loves it so much, and he makes you want to win. And he demands that, and it's added motivation.
Have you had a chance to connect with Zion yet? And from the brief 2 days you've been there, what have you seen on the field?
He looks good, man. I got to see him in high school. It's crazy. He's not from Galveston, but he went to my high school. And when I saw him and his twin, I was like, who are those guys? I think it was back in 2016 or 17 when I went to watch him play in high school. And he's a good player then. He's improved, and he's doing his thing right now.
This is a big year for Jalen. What's your impressions of his progress from year one to now?
I mean, I've only seen him for the last 2 days, but last year he already came in very polished, smooth. Now he's just way better when it comes to the plays and knowing the plays, knows multiple positions, and he still looks really smooth and fast out there.
Did you have a focus? Is something you want to do the rest of the offseason, get better at something specific at all?
Every year I just try to find ways to keep my body in tip-top shape. So that's what I do. Just try to because when I'm feeling good, I feel like I'm the best. So I just got to get in that position when I'm feeling my best.
You said you want this to be your best season ever. How do you define best season for you?
Winning a lot on a lot of routes, blocking great, staying healthy, and winning a lot of football games.
At this point in your career, do you when you prepare for a season, do you stick to similar routines or workouts because this is what got you here, or do you say to yourself all right, I need to work on this a little bit more and change things up just to get a new look?
Yeah, each year, like I said, I figure stuff out, things I need to work on and what I need to do to make sure I'm feeling my best. I do the same workouts. I just work out more now than I did in the past. That's why I was so heavy, and I watch what I eat now. So
it's a fair point right there. Fair question too. How does a receiver who has is it eight 1,000-yard years in a row?
Yep.
How do you get any better off of that?
Well, we talked about this last year in training camp. And, when I'm out there, and it's one of the good things about being able to go out there and see it, is you could see right away that Mike Evans was faster. He was running by guys on his go routes, which he did a little bit earlier in his career, but he dropped weight. He was better. I thought last year was his best year ever. Maybe his numbers were pretty damn good. But it was more the way he was running his routes. He was getting a little bit more yak, which has always been a thing for Mike. And Mike, he likes to secure the catch and sometimes go to the ground. He's gotten better at that as he's gone on. But I thought last year his deep ball and his deep route running was so much better. Can he get faster this year as he gets older? I don't know. He did last year, and it was a noticeable difference. And I think, I think with it'll be a little different, without AB, obviously. But Russell Gage is a different type of cat. Maybe early on, Godwin, if he's not ready, and I think Godwin will be ready earlier than people think, quite frankly, because of his work ethic and stem cells. So I think, it's hard to, because it's not just numbers. I know people just defer to the numbers, but we watch the games and we watch the tape, and I think Mike Evans was clearly his best last year of all the seasons that I've seen.
I would agree. It was his best version. And the thing about the offense is it's going to go to whoever's open. We're not scheming guys. We're not scheming guys left and right here. Sometimes it's going to happen. Don't get me wrong. It happens every offense, but in a Tom Brady offense, it's going to go to whoever's open for the most part. But Mike Evans, the thing is, who depends on Chris Godwin when he's going to return, if he's going to be on the season, if he's going to start on the IR or not. We've seen him in so many different variations of offenses over the years, and he's been a one guy and been surrounded by a lot of lesser talent and still found a way to produce. So I don't think the offense really will struggle in the regular season, even without Chris Godwin, because I know what Mike Evans is going to give you.
Yeah.
And we talked about it with Scott last week. The receiver group is very I guess, packed right now. And there's going to be a lot of competition for spots. I mean, I got to look more into this Tompkins kid because everybody that talks about him is raving about him. I mean, maybe, and that's obviously pushing Jalen Darden as well, who has impressed at camp so far based on everybody that's been there. So a lot of competition, but Mike Evans, no surprise here, still trying to be better. I mean, again, one of the leaders of this team.
And just the fact, and how far through that, I don't know if he was asked about his contract, but we'll keep playing, see if he was asked about his contract. Because to me, that's the biggest thing with him. I mean, look at Terry McLaurin's out. I mean, Tyreek Hill, he'll basically forced a trade. Same thing with Devontae Adams to go get their money. And these guys are making $30 million a year, and that's not what Mike Evans is doing. And it makes the Buccaneers a better team all the way around.
That's been helpful for the last 3-4 years.
You said last year left a bad taste in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like for you seeing the team that you came within a breath of beating, go on to win a Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I watched the Super Bowl. I was actually, it was me and my wife's anniversary. So we went out to eat at a nice steakhouse, and the game was on at the bar. And I was just watching. I assumed the Rams were going to win. I feel like they were the better team. But it's bittersweet because I got friends on that team that I want to see win, but they beat us. So I kind of don't want them to win. It was just tough, but it's a new year.
Mike, how long do you feel you knew Coach Bowles before he got the head coaching job, or is this kind of like a new getting to know him setup for you?
Well, me and Coach Bowles had a really good relationship already. We talked a lot, and it's going to be the same.
The first 6 years, you had a lot of individual success, Mike, but the team was struggling. You had one winning season. And
that winning season don't even count. We didn't make the playoffs.
That's right. How much did that get to you, after 5 or 6 years? Were you starting to think you might spend your whole career like this, Mike?
I always try to be positive, but, 6 years of just losing, never touching the playoffs, it hurts. And the position I play and what I've gone through in this heat, it was tough. But Tom came and helped us out, and we got a lot of key guys that stepped up and helped us out to turn this program around to a winning program.
Does that the last 3 years kind of change your approach, or you would say
it's just extra motivation. It's just extra motivation. I hope I can experience this the rest of my career. Sold out stadiums, going on the road, sold out. Everybody giving us their best. I want to experience that for the rest of my career.
I'm assuming that you probably wanted Byron Leftwich to get a head coaching job, but the fact that he's back, how big is that to have the same system? And do you anticipate this offense being tweaked a little bit? What do you think?
Each year we tweak the offense and try to find ways to improve on certain plays and things like that, and situationally as well. I definitely believe Byron will be a head coach one day, but I'm happy we got him right now.
Mike, you got a big charity event this weekend with your turning your gala. How much does it mean to you to give back to the community that you've been a part of for so long?
Oh, it means everything. I've been so blessed to be in this position, and I'm always going to pay it forward. This is what I was taught, it's how I was raised, and I'm just super blessed, and I'll always do this. It gives me a lot of joy to give back. It really does.
Mike, can you speak to the pace or tempo of a Todd Bowles practice? It looks to us like it's pretty crisp out there.
Yeah, it's the same though. It's the same format of the practice that we've been having the last 3 years. So it's the same right now.
What's the biggest difference you notice from going from Coach Arians and his coaching style to Coach Bowles now being the head coach?
BA was more offensive, obviously, and Todd's defensive. So I've only been around these 2 days, so that's all I've seen pretty much.
Mike, you're a Super Bowl champion, you're a Pro Bowl player, but the consistency of your career, are you most proud about that? And did you imagine yourself playing at the same level this many years into the league? It seems like you just got here, but it's been 8 years.
Yeah, I know, going on 9. Like I said, I've been blessed, but I've always believed in my abilities. Every year I'm going to come in super confident. If I'm feeling good, like I said, I feel like I'm the best. So I'm just trying to improve each year and just happy to be here.
Mike, what did you think of this year's schedule when you saw it?
Oh, it's a tough schedule, but I love it. We're playing against a lot of playoff teams, playoff caliber teams, really good quarterbacks. I like playing against really good quarterbacks. I'm a fan of that position. So it's going to be a good schedule this year. I hope it's similar to last year. A lot of sold-out games and, big crowds.
Those first 4 games are brutal. I
What
mean,
are they? Who do we play?
At Cowboys, at Saints, Packers, and Chiefs.
Are there, do you see that as a negative, or are there perks to kind of setting the tone for your season by going against some of these, the best teams?
I mean, the NFL has a lot of great parity. I mean, that's how our game is, and I like that. We were once the bottom team, and people say, "Yeah, we put Bucks, easy game," and now they want to play the Bucks. So I'm just happy.
I love that you
I don't care what the schedule is.
was.
Yeah, I don't care about the schedule.
Mike,
I just want to win as many games as possible.
See the Dumbledore movie yet?
I did see the Secrets of Dumbledore movie. It was actually pretty good. Pretty good.
Mike, you played last year around 230. You played at multiple different weights.
I was like 226 last year.
Is that a weight that you want to play at again? Do you feel like?
Yeah, that's the weight I'll stay at. I'm bigger. It's harder to run the whole 17 games now, including playoffs. It's a little bit harder on your body, but I'll try to stay under 226 this year. But I can't get too light because I lose my strength.
Feelings about the Saints, Mike? Are they a pest in your mind?
I like the competition. I like the rivalry, but, we don't like the Saints, obviously. I beat us twice last year, and hopefully we can get them back this year.
Who do you despise more, the Saints or the Rams?
Both.
Good stuff from Mike Evans right there at the end.
Does he really not know what the schedule is?
I mean, maybe football players really don't look at those things. I don't know. I believe them.
Yeah. We need one more break. We good?
No, we're good.
Okay. Yeah, he probably doesn't, because it doesn't matter to him right now. It just doesn't matter. But you think you take a look and go, oh.
No,
wow,
they rattled off those teams, and you're like, wow, that's a murderous row. And he's just like, okay.
Well, they know who they're going to play, obviously. So it's just when and where. But I think that's the quiet confidence of this team is like, it doesn't matter who you play or where you play. Bring it on. We're good enough to beat anybody. Not to say that they're gonna, like you think they're gonna go undefeated. It's not to say that they're not gonna lose a game, but they understand that if they go out and play their game, that most games they're gonna win.
Can we just play the game in Germany? Like, can we play a good game overseas? Finally, that's all I really am worried about.
Well, look at the teams that we've sent overseas.
We've sent some bad teams.
Some really bad teams.
The Bucks have played some of the worst
it's not the
games.
Overseas. It's the,
I know, but the
team.
Bucks have played some of the worst football I've ever seen in my life.
What did Jameis throw? 5 picks against, was the Colts?
Yeah, against Carolina.
Yeah.
And that was that NFL Network broadcast. And like Rich Eisen was like, oh my. Oh boy. Every time. Yeah.
Oh my.
I'd rather forget that one.
That's a bad throw. Well, who knows? But I guarantee you this team will not underperform in those particular games. I'm just glad that they didn't they lose the Packers or the Chiefs game or any really good home game.
Yeah.
Who are we playing again over there?
That's the Chiefs, right?
No, the Chiefs are week 4.
Oh, I'm wait a second. Seattle. The Chiefs were the rumored. It's Seattle.
Seattle without Russell Wilson. Who cares? Seattle with Jimmy Garoppolo. If that happens.
That ain't happening.
You don't think so?
That ain't happening. No.
That's a weird situation right now. Who's going to trade for him at this point?
I think the 49ers, you know how I feel about Jimmy Garoppolo. I think the 49ers are out of their mind.
I do too. If
they go with Trey Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo still.
But they're talking about how good he's throwing in practice and he's making some amazing throws.
Steve Young said he's a little raw right now.
Of course he's raw. He's never played. He's never started an NFL game.
But what teams, honestly, would do that after going to a Super Bowl?
I don't get it,
you're
bro.
a few minutes away from winning another one with this guy, and you're just going to be like, see ya. Bye.
I don't get. What did we talk about at the beginning when it comes to consistency?
Yeah, there you go.
And the Lightning have never been one of those franchises like, we got to scrap it. We didn't get to the mountaintop. You keep knocking on the door, and eventually it's going to go. Especially, and listen, I'm not a huge fan of Garoppolo because I do think but also when you look at the way Kyle Shanahan's handled him. You make people think that he's not good enough. You make people think that that you don't have confidence in him because, you run the ball. But then again, if you're running the ball for 300 yards a game, why should you throw it? And you're winning.
Yeah.
And Garoppolo, yes, did he miss a guy deep by a yard and a half to maybe win the Super Bowl? Yes, he did. Maybe the guy could have run a little faster. Maybe the wind could have blown. I mean, you're that close. I just don't see how you scrap it when you got a quarterback with that kind of winning percentage. I mean, his winning percentage is ridiculous with the 49ers. Obviously, he's not healthy all the time. I get it. But
look look how they play when he's not on the field.
And look at the resources that they expended to get a guy that's completely unproven in this league. What did they give up? 2 first-round picks?
Yeah.
You could have bolstered your team with better players.
That was already a loaded team, by the way.
That's already, yeah, but you never have enough good players. But listen, I'm not Kyle Shanahan. I'm not there at every practice. I don't see, him missing reads and missing things. I just look at their winning percentage with him and I say, damn,
just win, baby.
I mean, just win. I mean, it's trying to predict whether Trey Lance is going to be this great quarterback. I could see, look, if you're going to go get Matthew Stafford and trade Garoppolo, I get it. But an unproven rookie who's not played at the highest level in college?
And this is why I told you.
That seems like a really, really big stretch.
And this is why I told you before Brady unretired and came back to the Bucs, to me, drafting a quarterback or going with Kyle Trask, no offense, I thought would be you had to go get a big name guy,
right,
given the team around you.
Right.
You could not afford to go in because you're taking steps back,
right,
a lot of steps
Your
back.
team's already ready to win.
Exactly.
100%.
And I feel like that's exactly what San Francisco would be doing. But again, if that's what they want to do, hey, if they want to start Trey Lance, for the Bucs' point of view, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Take yourself out of contention.
I love it.
Go right ahead because a lot of other teams have taken themselves out of contention in the NFC this year.
And as far as I know, the team that they have right now, obviously they can afford him. He's on the salary cap now.
Yeah.
So what are you going to, if you can't trade him for value, are you just going to sit him? And then you trade him? Who's your backup? I mean, that makes no sense.
The thing about Garoppolo, why it's so hard to trade him is he's viewed around the league as very limited, right? Same thing with Baker Mayfield. And next year's draft class, everybody's talking about next year's draft class.
These guys are all completely unproven.
They're unproven, but you have Stroud, Bryce Young, Van Dyke from Miami, this Will Levis kid from Kentucky, for crying out loud, is like talking about going number 1 overall.
Anthony Richardson, they're talking about going
I love Anthony
in the
Richardson.
top 5.
But the point is, there's like 6 or 7 quarterbacks that they said would be better than every single one in this class. That's the change. That's why there's no movement on Garoppolo or Baker right now.
All right. Hey, we teased a couple other things that I wanted to get to. Do we have the McIlroy comments from yesterday? Rory McIlroy goes out there and shoots, 62 at the Canadian Open. Just ridiculous. Justin Thomas shot 64. But what a great tournament. Justin Thomas, Tony Finau, Rory McIlroy playing a high level of golf in a really great venue. And there you have the live over there where it's non-competitive. Guys are making $120 million for shooting 10 over. It's a bad look for the live. And I think Rory really, really encapsulated what the difference between the two tours really. And it was pointed. He did not mince words afterwards on the reason why he was so highly motivated. He said, and it just so happened that he was tied with Greg Norman with 20 tour wins, and that put him ahead with 21.
A very petty, in my opinion, Rory McIlroy.
Really?
I feel like Rory McIlroy is so he just won the tournament, but I feel like every interview he's had lately, it's always him taking some kind of dig at live. It always
think
is.
About this. He gave up 9 figures to stay on the PGA Tour for principle. He could have taken the money too, and he did it for principle. So when you do something like that, you're going to make damn sure that everybody knows why you did it and what the difference is.
I get
I'm
it.
just saying.
He has a lot of allegiance to the PGA Tour. It was his dream to be here, and he's one of the best players on it. I got all of that.
Yeah.
But like I said last week, I think we're taking it a little too far when we're trying to say that these guys are awful people because they took the
I'm not
money.
saying they're awful people. I think Greg Norman's an awful person.
I think Greg Norman
But
makes
not the
makes
players.
this
I
seem
get the
shady,
players
but
doing
the
it.
players, I
Yeah.
get it.
And I think the PGA Tour is going to have to soften their stance because it's hurting the fans.
But then again, Greg Norman has said things about Roy McIlroy.
That's
as well.
right.
So they're just
Damn
going.
right.
They're just going back and forth. I get it.
And Roy said he has no problem with the players taking the money. He said that.
Yeah.
So, you want to play it or?
Yeah, I think this is this might be the TV copy here.
Yeah.
But this is like a snippet of what he said after here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a day I'll remember for a long, long time. 21st PGA Tour win, one more than someone else. That gave me a little bit of extra incentive.
Greg Norman. Petty shot.
Little shot there at Greg Norman at the end.
Yeah. Also, we also teased the Del Rio thing. We don't have time to play it, but we'll get into it a little bit more tomorrow. More than just what Del Rio said, and you can agree or disagree with what he said. The fact that he got fined $100,000 is just absolutely ridiculous. And the statement that Ron Rivera put out, is so left out of the mainstream. I mean, it's to me, it is one-sided, completely one-sided, especially when it comes to the coverage on ESPN, which is ridiculous. And there's no room for any discussion on the other side. It's just shout him down, fine him, just ridiculous. The ridiculous situation. And you know what? It's certainly not going to create a wonderful kumbaya atmosphere within the Commanders hierarchy. But just where we are in this country where people can't speak their mind now. And obviously he's got consequences. I get it. But I think it's a bad look for the Commanders. I think it's a bad look for America. And it's certainly another low point for politics and sports, in my opinion. Well, inflation's at a record high. Gas prices are at $5. The Dow is down 600, and we're doing committee meetings on January 6th. Okay. All right. Thanks so much to Brian Bradley, who joined us here today. Great job, Nick Geddes. We'll be back tomorrow with more look ahead to the Colorado Avalanche Lightning Stanley Cup Final, and the Rays get set to get after it with the Yankees. Have a great day, everybody.